Quasi here. Today I want to share with you how you can reprogram your subconscious mind and really how to rewire yourself from looking at failures, looking at what's going wrong, to focusing on what it is you truly do want and moving towards that as a result. What I'm going to share with you is a technique of visualization that I've never shared before. And we're going to get real detailed into it because I've been using this for the past 3-4 years. Our customers in the Reality Mastery program have been using this to strategically, pave a pathway, a predictable pathway towards their goals. I want you to stick around to the very end of this video because I promise you this is probably going to be one of the most valuable videos you've seen on YouTube. Before I begin this video, I want to quickly announce a couple of spots have opened up for the free one-to-one consult with me and my team for the Reality Mastery program. Just wait till the end of the video for the announcement on how to enroll for that. And with that, let's get started. So today I want to talk to you about aligning your subconscious mind. And why do I even want to talk about this? Why do I keep making videos about this? Because this is the single most important thing that you can do. Because what happens is 5% of your mind is conscious, okay? If I drew a diagram here, okay, and this circle contains, let's say, the top 5%. If you imagine an iceberg, right, most of it is under the surface of the water, which you can't see. 5% of this is conscious. And now most people keep trying to change their conscious minds. And, there's this battle that's going on where 95% or more is unconscious, okay? You could say that 5% is conscious, 5% is subconscious, and then 90% is unconscious, but there are many different ways of saying this. But the point I want to make with this is most of your mind and most of your being is unconscious. Instead of trying to change this 5%, why not try to tap into the 95% that really controls you, right? So that's exactly what I want to do here. Now, the biggest problem and why most people want and need to reprogram themselves is because we've always been wired to go towards pleasures and avoid failures, right? Avoid pain. So the human psyche is programmed to avoid pain and pursue pleasure, right? But most of the time, if you really look at it, most people nowadays, we're constantly anticipating pain. We're constantly anticipating failure, right? So anticipation of pain is what actually causes movement towards this pain, right? So to give you an example, your mind is like a focusing mechanism. If you keep looking at the car next to you, let's say you're on the highway and you're driving, right? And you want to avoid the car next to you. You want to avoid bumping and crashing into the car next to you. So you keep focusing on avoiding that car. And the more you keep focusing on avoiding it, life doesn't care about the content of your focus. It cares about the nature of your focus. If you focus on moving towards, you're going to move towards. If you focus on avoiding, you're going to move towards. So that's how your mind works. So instead of just keeping on focusing on avoiding and anticipating the pain, right? Because we're like, oh shit, I want to avoid this pain that's going to come up. So look at your mind. You're always going to be worried about something. You're always in fear about something. You would much rather avoid losing $1,000 more than you want to make $1,000, right? So this is how we've been naturally programmed. And because of that, we're always in fear mode. We're always in protective, closed off, constricted mode. This is the biggest thing you've got to overcome in order for you to actually move towards your goals, expand your comfort zone, take the risks necessary, right? So that's what I want to discuss today, how to do that. Now, why this happens, why we're always in this protective mode is because society has put us in this scarcity mentality. If you look at everything around you, the general attitude is that life is hard, right? Everything, everywhere says that life is hard. Any single TV show you watch, it's probably 90% of the stuff is on why life is hard and why you can't do this and why this is evil and why you should avoid this. This is the age of conspiracy. There's 1,000,001 different conspiracy theories out there. If you look on YouTube, you're going to find 1,000,001 different conspiracy theory videos. And the reason why they're so popular is because they attune to the frequency that makes you resonate the most. So I made a video on this before, if you click up here and check it out. But there is a scale of different frequencies, right? The lowest frequency of vibration, if you will, is apathy, right? So we have 0 here, which let's call it apathy. And then the highest is your enlightenment or the truth, which is the level of 1,000. But within that, there's anger, there is fear, and there is desire. All of these levels are in the middle, and the graph kind of goes like this. At the middle levels, there's more resonant energy. So the y-axis describes energy. That's why society wants to kind of keep you into anger, in fear, in desire mode all the time, in pride, in protecting, whatever it is you have, etc. So this is the mode society can get the most. It can militarize you the most, right? That's why all of these things are going viral right now, because this is where most of society's tendencies, most of society has been programmed this way up until this point. So that's why conspiracy theories are so popular, and this life is so hard mentality and there's a limited amount of resources is so popular. And now you wonder why you're programmed this way and why you keep thinking about failure and why you keep doubting yourself and you have all of these fears and anxieties, because you keep getting exposed to all of these things, right? And it programs you this way. So the mission becomes, how do we overcome this? How do we reprogram ourselves so that we can focus on what we want and go towards the goals and actually live a peaceful life, And this is where this RAS, your reticular activating system, comes in. So let's talk about this reticular activating system. What the RAS essentially is if I believe I'm not good enough, I'm going to look for proof of where I am not good enough so that it confirms it. I'll give you an example. Let's say I have a coaching business and I feel that I'm not good enough, right? What's going to happen is the moment the thought I'm not good enough comes in conjunction with the feeling of not being good enough, it's going to create an imprint on your unconscious, okay? And when this imprint on your unconscious is made, your reticular activating system gets programmed. When that happens, you start to look for proof of where you're not good enough. If someone leaves one negative comment on your video, or you have one client who's not satisfied with your services, that's going to confirm and consolidate the proof of you not being good enough even more. Do you see that? How many times has this happened in your life where you just confirmed your suspicions? You had this suspicion, your thought, your mind and your heart came together in this suspicion and this fear, and then you just approached life and then all of that proof it was overwhelming. All you could see was this suspicion being confirmed. There was nothing else there, even though there were things that you just couldn't grasp it. This is the very reason why people don't become successful, because they don't see the opportunities that are right under their noses this whole time, right? And they don't seize these opportunities because they don't even see them. They're like, oh no, this is not an opportunity. This is a path for me to fail. Oh no, this is a path for me to lose money in my investments. So the biggest problem is your reticular activating system is programmed in a way that you don't want it. And this all happened unconsciously, subconsciously, whatever you want to call it, by this thing we call societal conditioning, okay? So the mission becomes to consciously break out of that. This is why only 1% are successful. It doesn't have to be that way. Everyone could be living the lives that they want. Everyone's here on a unique mission and unique purpose. But we just don't seize that opportunity. We just think that we're doomed. We just think that there's this destiny that was pre-written for us, right? So this is what the RAS essentially is. Now, the question becomes, what's the solution, Quasi? How do we reprogram this? How did I break out of this? Because I was in this too, right? Sometimes I fall into that fear mentality, but then I realize what's happening. I'm falling into the societal conditioning trap. I'm looking at everything outside of me. This isn't really me. This isn't really real, but I'm thinking and perceiving it as real, okay? So the solution is to, again, get your heart and mind together in what you do want. Rejoice the heart and mind, thinking plus feeling, let's call it heart plus mind, in what is wanted, in your desire, right? Because right now it's happening in fear. Your heart and your mind is coming together in fear. This is why it's becoming so strong. This is why your RAS is getting programmed that way. So the best way to do that, I've found, is through visualization, but in a different kind of visualization, not just a one stagnant visualizing the goal and visualizing you winning $1 million kind of visualization, but something I like to call process visualization, okay? And we're going to get right to that, so make sure you stick around to the very end. So I want to give you a complete system of learning how to reprogram yourself so you can use this repeatedly and help yourself go to the very top and get to what you actually want, right? The solution, the first step, is the classical goal visualization. Okay, what do I mean by goal visualization? This is where you actually look at the goal itself. So you begin with what you want. You begin at the end. What does life look like once the goal has been achieved? That's the most important part of this. What's a single frame? let's say you have a film reel, right? Let's say you have different series of events that happen, and this is the final goal, okay? This is the final goal. You have a series of events that happen, and you disregard what's happening in the middle that takes you to it, and you only regard that final goal. What does life look like? What does this frame look like once I've achieved all of my goals? To give you an example, my vision for the longest time was I wake up next to the partner of my dreams in my LA mansion, and then I go down to the pool and all my friends are there and the business is running really well. And obviously there are different frames to it. That's one particular frame. Another frame could be, oh, I'm on a cruise or I'm on a vacation. And another frame could be I'm on stage and I'm at the office. So there are different frames to it, right? What does one frame of it look like? You could use different frames for different days. You could visualize at different times. I've made a completely detailed guide on how to visualize. So make sure you click that. I'm going to link it in the description because this will complement this video very, very well. But that's what I mean by goal visualization. You look at one frame of what life looks like once the goal has been achieved. So let's say if your goal is to have a multi-million-dollar business, what does life look like once you have achieved that? Either in the moment of achieving it or what it looks like after it has been achieved. Okay? So that's what I mean by goal visualization. Why is goal visualization important? Because this is the classical sort of visualization, and I told you I'm going to teach you something else, but this is still important. Because what goal visualization does is it actually provides substance for process visualization. Okay, we're going to get to that right in a second. But another thing goal visualization does is it takes your RAS from focusing on the negatives to what you actually do want. When you visualize on the goal itself, now your subconscious gets wired to look at proof of where it could contribute to that. Now all of these opportunities start to come to you. But it doesn't happen with one goal visualization. But you have to systematically keep doing it every single day, you know, and just get into the habit of doing it, turning that frame around in your mind's eye. But another thing is, it's not enough to just think it. You have to get the feelings into it as well. Remember we talked about getting a rejoicing in your heart and mind. So when you get the heart on board as well with the mind, a magical thing happens. We leave that imprint on the unconscious mind. And now your RAS gets programmed. Now you slowly start to see more opportunities that were right under your nose show up for you all of a sudden, right? So there's that. A great tip of getting emotions into your visualization is to give up visualizing to get something, but instead visualizing to experience what it's like living that life. I'm going to say that one more time. If you want to truly get emotions in your visualization, give up trying to receive something and trying to get something from your visualization, and actually focus more on what it is like to be in that ideal scene. Okay? So there's that. There's number one, goal visualization. This is going to prime your subconscious mind. But now what happens is we need to consolidate it. So next up comes what I call process visualization. Okay, let's write that down. Process visualization. What process visualization does is it focuses on these, right? These middle steps that come in. And you might be wondering, well, I've read so many things that tells you to give up the means and don't worry about the means, somehow the goal will come. But the truth is, unless you're one step away from achieving the goal, it doesn't matter how much you visualize it. It's akin to focusing on desire as opposed to intention. Okay? Desire is the focus on the end goal. Intention is focus on the movement towards the goal. When you visualize the process, you focus on the movement towards the goal. Okay? So to give you an example, if I want to grow a multi-million-dollar business, let's say I'm going to give you an example of my business. Let's say I have a coaching business and I want to, get ads and run ads and grow to 300K a month. Let's say I focus on 300K a month. And now the idea of a process comes to me which says, run ads. That's a process for you to get to 300K a month from 100 grand a month, right? So now I visualize running ads, and what I do is I visualize my ads getting better and better every single day. So you look at the results of you running ads really well, okay? You look at what life looks like once I've achieved running ads and this stage. So again, we're always focusing on the end, but smaller increments of the end. We look at what life looks like once this stage has been ticked off. And then we look at what life looks like when this stage has been ticked off, right? So when I was focusing getting to $1 million months, I began at my first 20K a month. And I'll put a video up here too. If you click the little eye, you'll check that out. When I hit my first 20K a month, and then I hit my first 80K a month, and I hit my first 100K a month, and I hit my first 150K a month. All of those, I was visualizing the process. What does it look like? Oh yeah, I'm making YouTube videos. They're going really well. People are really liking them. Oh, I'm running ads. Ads are being very profitable. It's going well. Oh, the calls are going well, clients are really coming in, and the right kinds of clients are coming in, they're qualified, they can afford the services. All of those things I visualized, right? And then all of those things started to happen because they were still the process that leads up to that goal of 100K a month or 200K a month, whatever it is. So the general attitude of process visualization is it's getting better and better every day. Kind of like an artist that does his or her work. You look at the work and you're like, oh, it's going really well, and you start to visualize it. You're like, well, tomorrow I did this and it went really well and it started to look really nice, and these little embellishments made the piece look really good. And at the same time, you visualize what the final piece looks like. Maybe you don't know what it exactly looks like, but you know the feeling that comes when you've made a masterpiece, right? An interesting thing is when you start to visualize the process, new ideas start to come to you, right? New ideas for processes start to come to you. But this happens especially at first when you begin goal visualization. So if you're unclear about what to do and how to get to your goal, the best thing to do is just focus on what life looks like once the goal has been achieved. Once you visualize this, then this shows up for you, okay? Once you visualize this, this will show up for you. Once you visualize this, this will show up for you. So it's kind of like that. Once you focus on the goal itself, the paths that lead to the goal all of a sudden become available to you. And then you use that as a basis for process visualization. This is a very, very powerful process, okay? I urge you to just try it yourself. Don't even trust me on this. Just go ahead and try it. Try it for a month. Try it for a couple of months. See what happens. You'll be surprised to see how quickly your life changes, okay? That's number 2, process visualization. Number 3 is sealing all of these and actually programming yourself to be that version that is worthy of experiencing that. Because a lot of people experience inconsistencies. They'll do 100 grand one month and then they'll go back down. And they'll have this up and down, up and down, up and down. To consolidate it, you've got to look for confirmation that your vision is coming to life. Okay? So every single day, just look at 3 confirmations of how life went your way or how visualization worked. So let's say I'm visualizing, oh, my ads are going well. I'm looking at where it went well. Oh, look. I got a lot of cheap impressions. Oh, look, I got so many leads. Oh my God, I got so many calls. Oh, look, my cost per acquisition is very, very low. That's very good. Oh, look, I'm so profitable already. That means at the end of the month, I could be just as profitable. If I put in 50 grand in and I get 100 grand out, wow, that's fantastic. So just being grateful and appreciating all of those things and giving yourself confirmation. What happens is when you start to consciously look for confirmation, now you just drive a wedge between that old belief of you not being good enough and the new belief of I am good enough. And you drive that wedge and you separate those from the RAS. And now the RAS gets more and more programmed to go towards the new confirmations you're putting in. I made a really detailed video about the RAS and everything, so I'll also link that up in the little eye. Make sure you check that out. But those are the 3 steps for you to go from this beginning stage of, oh shit, I'm not good enough, I don't really know what to do, I'm trapped, I'm doomed, life sucks, to, holy shit, it works, fantastic, I can achieve my goals, anything is doable. These are the 3 steps, but it doesn't happen overnight again, but it could. It could happen really quickly. So I conclude this video, let's do a quick recap of what we talked about. Today we talked about aligning your subconscious mind towards what you want and why most people fail, why we're trapped in this societal cycle of looking at why life isn't good enough, why I'm not good enough, and why life is so hard and you have to work so hard to earn a place under the sun. We're programmed nowadays to anticipate pain more than go and search for pleasure in our desires, right? Society's general programming, how it can militarize you at the energy level of, the energy frequency rather of anger, pride, fear, is by giving you all of these false programmings, like life is hard. You're not the problem. Everything around you, COVID is the problem. This is the problem. That is the problem. Here's your excuses. 1% of businesses succeed. All of those false beliefs. And all of these things take a toll on your RAS because your heart and your mind comes together. When your heart and your mind comes together, it leaves an imprint in your unconscious mind, which then programs your RAS to look for proof of where this is true. This is why if you visualize something really, really vividly, your nervous system can't tell from what's real to what's imagined. To it, it appears real. And the solution is to get that coherence in your heart and mind. And how we do that is through visualization. Okay? The 3 steps of visualization we discussed. Number 1, visualizing the goal. Okay, looking at this final slide of what life looks like once everything that you've ever wanted has been achieved. Does your life look like a vacation? Or is there a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety? If so, that's the wrong goal, right? And once you do the goal visualization, it aligns your subconscious towards that direction. So the frequency of your thoughts attune to the frequency of that target lifeline or that target goal. Once that happens, now you become receptive to what will lead you to the goal, what will move you towards the goal, the flow that leads towards the goal. Right now, your flow is going all in different directions. Once you visualize the goal, it becomes like this. Instead of going like this, it becomes like this, right? It points right to that goal. And then you will get ideas of what the next step is. And then once you visualize the next step, aka the process, you'll get ideas of what the immediate step is. And like this, you sort of pave a pathway towards your goals, right? To give you an example, I began with visualizing a very, very successful business, the financial freedom, being able to help people, doing what I love every single day. And then I got the idea of, let's start a YouTube channel. And then I started a YouTube channel. And then I visualized my YouTube videos doing really well, really well, really well. One day someone reached out to me for coaching. And I was like, wait a second, I could do that. I had no idea I was going to do coaching, right? I thought I was going to sell merch, right? But that's not what happened because that truly didn't align with me. It's not what I really wanted. I didn't even consciously know what I wanted, but unconsciously it was still there, right? But because I visualized the process, now I visualize coaching and I get a lot of different ideas and a lot of different things about the goals I want to hit. So that's how you systematically do this. Okay, but you got to act on it. You got to expand your comfort zone. It's got to be uncomfortable, but it's not, you don't have to suffer, okay? And finally, you use confirmations to consolidate this. So you look for proof of where you are going with and along the flow. And you give your mind that confirmation. You perfect this design. You start up an affirmation. I'm awesome. Where is proof of me being awesome? Look, this person responded positively. I'm awesome. Whatever you're looking for, you'll find. It's just we look for the wrong things because we've been unconsciously programmed with them, right? And with that, I conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching. I sincerely hope this was helpful. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that little bell there so you're notified of any new video that I put out. And also, if you're an existing subscriber, I would love to know what you thought of this and what kind of new videos you would want to see me make. Just let me know in the comments below. And as I mentioned before, the free one-to-one consult for the Reality Mastery program is now open. So make sure you click on the link in the description below to sign up for that. This consult isn't for everyone, okay? This is only for entrepreneurs who actually want to work together and take their businesses to the next level. And they have all of the strategies, all of the tactics, but they're seeing that it's not the outer tactics and strategies that they need, but it's the internal ones. They want to scale up their businesses, but what they're seeing is their patterns, their anticipation of this pain, their self-sabotage, their lack of self-worth is the reason that they can't really move up to those 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K months in their businesses, okay? And if you feel like you've been struggling through an internal barrier, not an external one, but maybe the external barrier shows up because there is an internal one, then click on the link to sign up for that and let's see how we can help. And the free Facebook group is open for you to take advantage of. The link for that is also in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Peace!